begin our tour of the Buffalo and Pittsburgh Railroad in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, the south end of the railroad. About 200 car storage capacity and 5 hidden tracks that go under the very end there. 5 tracks that'll hold 40 car trains. As you leave this yard, you're going north through Elwood City. Eventually there will be a skyboard that separates the lower scene and the upper scene. Now we're at Mackin Crossing, just south of Butler, Pennsylvania. And coming around this main line loop, we have our first major industry, that's BIDS, Bulk Intermodal Distribution Services. We cross over or under Monroe Street here, and over Canning Street here at the VO Tower. And then we see that the morning zigzag train is parked there on the main line waiting for the car inspector to check out the cars. On the right side there we have New Vinyl Products, plastics industry, and a color press, newspaper printer, and MHF warehouse. Here we see the main yards in Butler. That's the runaround yard. It kind of curves around the hill there. And way down at the end, the south yard facility where the engines are. Yeah. Coming out of Butler, we have the east yard. And yellow box cars at Leather Lumber. This is WS Tower, and here the track splits. The track on the left is the main line towards Buffalo, and the track on the right is the branch line towards Bruin, Pennsylvania. And it curves underneath the main and disappears into the sky there. We'll come back to the branch. The main line that goes through the sky goes into this helix, which we've left partially open because people like to see trains in helix. And on the top shelf we have a continuation of the main line at West Moss Grove. It's an interchange with Pittsburgh and Shawmut Railroad here. It comes up to the yard 2% grade, very stiff grade for the railroad. Continuing along, we leave West Moss Grove. Get West Mahoning Creek, which is just south of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a real nice combination of bridges that go in here. We disappear into the tunnel, which also serves as our washing machine dryer area. And into Riker Yard. Riker Yard is actually a huge 2.5 mile long flat yard, multiple tracks, but most of it's not used today except for a crew change area. And leaving Punxsutawney, we go into Du Bois. Du Bois has some street running. There's going to be people's houses in that corner there. The old freight house there where the engine's sitting. Big scrap yard. Water dripping. And these are the end of the tracks for the rest car facility, freight car repair facility that's on the site of the old Buffalo, Rochester, and Pittsburgh yard. Even Du Bois is starting to get a little bit dark, little clouds coming in. There's going to be a tie treatment plant here, and the Falls Creek concrete tower, interlocking tower at the Diamonds. And then we get into Johnsonburg, Pennsylvania, which has a huge paper mill, and all these cars you see lined up here in front are at paper mill sidings. We have an inch of space between Johnsonburg and Bradford, Pennsylvania. This is the site of a big oil refinery, Kendall Oil. It's the biggest customer on Buffalo and Pittsburgh. And we have some mocked up structures here, 3-story barrel building where back in the 1900s they used to build the wooden barrels to hold oil. Leaving Bradford, we're entering East Salamanca. This is an interchange area for the Rochester and Southern sister railroad of the Buffalo and Pittsburgh. A lot of auto rack traffic comes through here. These are auto parts box cars that are going to go up to Rochester. Crossing over the bridge, you get to Ashford Junction, site of another concrete interlocking tower. The line that curves off to the left goes to Buffalo. The one off to the right goes to Rochester. And you can see in the distance past that tree, there's a Buffalo crushed stone ballast quarry there. And ducking under the bridge, you gotta duck under the bridge. Finally get to some scenery on the railroad. Nice to see. This is milepost 36 or 36 fill. Have a lot of erosion problems here. Cazenovia Creek, and then we enter the Buffalo Yard, which you can see better if you stand up on this stool. This has 3 arrival departure tracks that hold 40-car trains. That down, yeah, that's the map. It's the actual map from Buffalo and Pittsburgh track diagram book, and it's been modified to show what we've modeled. Basically, there was several more tracks here. All the rest of this is pretty much the same configuration. So looking to your left, it's north. You see there's a coal train has arrived on one of the tracks, and then you have a bunch of cars waiting classification. And way down at the end of the railroad, you see the engine terminal. A lot of engines waiting to get on the road. So that's the complete run from Newcastle to Buffalo. Down below here we have the Bessemer and Lake Erie staging yard. Essentially, we don't operate this. It's just to hold cars. And that disappears through the wall into Butler. Then we're going to go back through here, back to the north end of Butler. This is my favorite part of the railroad. This is the branch line to Bruin. It goes under a nice steel trestle there. Comes out on the other side here at Fairmont. Crosses over what will someday be a huge trestle, wooden trestle in Chicora, Pennsylvania. Goes into the countryside, disappears into a cut. We haven't done the front part of the cut yet, but disappears into a cut. Crosses underneath the Bessemer and Lake Erie Kaler branch and into a tunnel. Go back past the washer dryers and coming into Karn City, Pennsylvania on the bottom shelf. This is the beginning of the Penrico oil refinery, and that stretches from there the whole way down to here. And all the tracks here and in Petrolia down the line are the same car lengths and the same configuration as the prototype. Here we're entering Petrolia. This is the Whitco chemical refinery here. Have a nice station, old station pictures here. It's since burned down. That goes there. And continuing through Petrolia, we cross the main street and get into the Inspec chemical plant. And they make resorcinol, a type of glue. And get about 10 cars in and out every day. Here we have a 28 car runaround, so the train can head back to Butler when it's done. And here we have the end of the line, about milepost 62. And that's the tour of the Buffalo and Pittsburgh. How long did that take?